Exodus.
Oops.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Live with Alan and Greg, and our guest Dave with Olive. So everyone can.
Hey, everybody.
Say
hi,
hello.
Olive.
I've been thinking about Olive.
Oh, look at that.
This is like the first draft shit. So here it looks like werewolf,
No, but I see it. I see her in there.
and here's looking like John Lennon.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it.
Look at that.
that.
Look at that. He's working hard on your portrait.
Yeah, we've been thinking about Olive a little.
That's cool.
Oh. You have sorry, my oops, oh shoot, what did I do here? You have formal training Alan, or is that just
I've been through like classes and art lessons, but no, I went to school for theater and then English. I've just been into art and drawing all my life.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I didn't know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just a hobby. You know, I get paid sometimes, but it's a hobby, and I'm lucky enough that I've been living here for 2 years. We have a big art studio downstairs. It's a brand new apartment complex. Well, it's 2 years old, but
yeah.
So I got in due to art stuff. It's a Native American community, but
okay. I didn't know you had gone to school for theater. You do? Did you do much acting, or?
I used to, and then I tried to write plays and scripts a lot back in the 80s.
Okay.
Man, I have an MFA in creative writing from Arizona State too. I used to write. It seems like another life, but yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear those kids outside or no?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, there's families here. We have a big courtyard outside. We had our second block party this August, and it was really successful. I'm involved in that. It's really lucky to live here. It's a nice place.
Cool.
Yeah, really laid back.
Yeah, my daughter was into she also, well, she doesn't have an MFA, but she got a creative writing degree, and she also did theater in school. And I wish she'd do. She's really good at it. It's just like the anxiety, it just gets to her, but she's really good. I wish she would like. I know it's tough business, but I wish she'd keep trying.
Was she in the musical theater? Was she
yeah.
a singer? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no. She I mean, she can sing, but she's not really
She's
much
more into the dramatic and stuff, because I can't sing either, but I like musicals. But
yeah, the one she did in college, she did it in high school too, but the one she did in college before she kind of quit was Our Town.
Oh, yeah, that's classic.
Which ironically I also did. But in high school, though. In high school, yeah, there's a real small part. You remember the character Wally?
No, I just remember like the narrator.
I just remember had a stage manager who narrated the whole.
Yeah, that's the big role. Yeah, Wally was what was her? Emily? Was that the main character's name? Emily?
I can't remember. I read it in high school.
Oh,
you're reviving it on Broadway or off Broadway or somewhere.
Are they? I'd go see that.
Yeah, or I just saw a thing on TV about it. Or
it's like one of the most famous American plays,
Yeah, Thornton Wilder. Classic. I like Tennessee Williams a lot. He's probably my favorite American playwright. Or Eugene O'Neill. Sam Shepard, I liked a lot. Beckett, of course. But
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not really. Yeah, go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
I'm going to say hello to our guests, so we don't get behind saying hello.
Hi, Lane.
Lane.
Oh, let's see who's here.
William. Hello, Albert.
A lot of people are here.
James Quayton Kieran. He was here in the guest seat last week.
Yeah, James.
MJ.
Hey, MJ.
Hello, MJ.
Hey, MJ.
Give Watson a scratch behind the ears.
I haven't seen Watson too much lately. Until that recent short you did.
And Constance.
Hey, Constance.
Pages and Prose.
Hello.
Christopher.
He's my friend in Portland. We We're going to see Chuck Palahniuk next month. He's speaking at Powell's on October 8th. Shannon told me about
Really?
that.
Wait,
Yeah,
where
he
is that?
lives here. Yeah. A lot of people
Where is
come to
it?
Powell's.
You're going to see him?
Powell's bookstore.
Oh, so he's just going to do a talk like on writing or something there?
I don't know if he has a new book coming out or what. He'll probably do a reading. He'll do a reading and hopefully signing. He might have a new book. I don't know. I've never read anything. I've got his book Damned here. I've seen
Okay.
Fight Club, but
Yeah.
he lives here in Portland. So, but
Okay.
a lot of
I've read his book of Invisible Monsters and a short story by him.
Yeah. Was it Guts?
Which one? Invisible Monsters?
No, the short story. Was it Guts?
No, it was what happened
heard about
was he released a book of short stories like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
12 years ago, and they had a promotion on Kindle where they gave away the first story in the volume.
Oh.
So try
Okay.
to get you to buy the whole book. And I read it was fine, and I never bought the whole book.
I've
Huh.
heard of the story Choke too.
I
Choke.
heard that's a
Oh, the
good
book choke. Yeah.
No, that's a book.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. That was good. That was my first exposure to him. I have Invisible Monsters. I haven't read it yet, but yeah, I would love to go see. So you're going to go see him, Alan?
Yeah, October 8th.
Yeah. I would
That's
love to go
kinda
see him.
cool.
It's a
He had
Tuesday.
the short story called Guts. I think it appears in that, but I haven't read that whole book, Haunted, that he did, but I think it appears in there.
That is the book that they were promoting that story. It might have been Guts. I don't remember the
Okay.
story at all.
Yeah, that one's famous. It was first published, I think, in Playboy.
Okay.
And that's not where I read it, just for the record. But
They used to publish everything in that Playboy.
yeah, a lot of Stephen King a lot of his stuff was in that kind of magazine.
Yeah, everybody's great.
Used
Isn't
to be
Playboy.
the premier magazine to get your fiction into.
Yeah, they
paid-
pay like
like back in
$2,000. Yeah,
The 80s, they paid like $5,000 a short story.
Yeah.
that was
So back then, it was
$2,000.
like you hit the jackpot
Wow.
if you got a story published in Playboy.
Oh yeah, they had contests too.
Yeah.
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 Stephen King. Sorry, go ahead, Alan.
I had some rejection letters from Playboy.
Hmm.
Yeah, with the
You send that
letterhead.
photo, Alan.
Yeah, right. He didn't
I
say
used to
for
wallpaper
what.
my bathroom with it.
He didn't
with
say they were
rejection letters.
stories. Yeah, when I was reading some stories on a night shift, and so I was like, I would look at the history of each one,
Oh.
and so it wasn't just Playboy. Like Stephen King published a lot of that stuff in Playboy like magazines back in
Gents.
the day.
Oh yeah.
Like
I mean,
Yeah.
he got published in some of the more notorious magazines back
Like
then.
Swank,
yeah.
like dirty magazines. Well, you can publish anywhere, like
Hey,
writers do.
if they publish short stories and you're a short story writer and they paid,
Yeah.
you don't complain.
Yeah, there used to be Story Magazine, and then Harper's and the Atlantic would publish, and like
Yeah.
Esquire does sometimes, I guess. I used
Yeah.
to like that magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy, Elaine. He gets jealous if I go on without him.
Uh-huh.
And the one thing, Dave, we're not going 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm still recovering from COVID, so
Oh.
Yeah.
my
Oh,
energy level is going to drop pretty. That
yeah.
hour and a half is going to drop because
Yeah.
even though I don't think I'm contagious anymore, it's just
Yeah.
it just like kicks you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're looking good. I forgot you were sick. I didn't really notice.
I didn't record any videos this week, and I'm way behind on my framed in September videos, and I'm like feeling like I'm guilty. And
Yeah.
so let's say hello to Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Constance saying hi again. Hey, Flo. Hello,
Hey, Flossie.
Flo.
Hey.
Todd. Another fantastic panel. Dave, are you doing any more readings during the holidays as you did last year?
Oh, I don't know, Todd. So he's talking about I did Fireside Dickens readings last December,
Okay.
Mm.
and that was a good experience. But I don't know if I would do that again because that was like a couple of those were like 2-3 hours, and it was like it's pretty exhausting.
Mm.
Maybe I should read some Halloween short stories or something. I don't know. Do you guys ever do any readings on your channels?
I've
done
done
poetry.
some poetry.
Okay.
I'm
I
very
get other people to do it. Like I got Mark at Book Time with Elvis to read a Joyce short story. I got Amy at, I forget her channel name. She changes it a lot, but she read a story for me. So maybe I get MJ to read a Lovecraft story in December for us.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna try to read a Poe story in October.
Yeah,
that'd
we
be
do
cool.
October,
You know which one?
I don't know.
Short one.
Telltale Heart is just so common.
Mm-hmm.
Mask of the Red Death is again so good, but so common. I mean, the problem is
Yeah,
all of
that's
these
a good
short
one.
stories are just so well known.
Mask of the Red Death has a big spoiler in it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they all have spoilers in them, huh?
Maybe just some more Poe poetry.
Yeah.
And we got Fred. Hey,
Hey, Fred.
Todd saying hi. We got Waiting at the Station with the Good Book.
Mm-hmm.
Cat is here, the ginger
Hey, Cat.
bibliophile. Playboy. LOL. Here we go, Dave. Don't blame it on Olive. Pat is
Playboy.
here.
Hey, Pat.
Pat's back from Ireland, yeah.
Back
Yeah.
from Dublin, Ireland.
How was the vacay, Pat?
I am so jealous. Of course, I got
Yeah,
back from a cruise ship, so I can't be that jealous. But
Pat was really kind to me and she was sending me like photos on Voxer every other day. So I got to thank her a lot. It was great to vicariously,
Yeah,
revel with her.
that's awesome.
mm-hmm.
Where was your cruise?
I went to New England and Canada.
Okay.
We hit Newport, Rhode
Okay.
Island. My wife loved Newport, Rhode Island.
We
We just got out and walked around. I don't know if you've ever been there, Dave. It's
no,
it's
pretty
a
sure not.
beautiful New England town,
Mm-hmm.
and you can walk
I've
around.
seen TV shows on it on
What?
Newport, Rhode Island, and Providence. I've seen TV travel shows.
Yeah.
They come on like middle of the night.
Yeah,
Weekend.
one of the things that's going to be in my videos is they have the oldest continuous library in the United States.
Oh,
It
Newport.
started from like 1750,
Oh,
Ah.
man.
and they have books from the 1750s behind a screened case, and
And it's still an active librry.
it's still. I mean, of course, the old books are no longer in street. They're
Right.
historical items, but it's still active. Still check out books.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be nice to see.
And they had a magnificent miniature art gallery. These are the tiny portrait, those tiny little art screens are like no bigger than like a computer screen or even smaller.
Okay.
And it was just really fabulous art.
Oh.
I did that for my Framed in September. And again, if it weren't for COVID, there would be a video out of that already.
Yeah.
But it was really great. So we enjoyed that. And then what's the other? We went to Boston.
Okay. That's a great city.
It is. I met Steve Donahue in Boston. That was
Yeah.
great.
Did you go to the Brattle?
I did go to the Brattle. I have to say the Brattle was a lot smaller than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be a really huge bookstore.
Yeah.
It's kind of tiny.
Yeah.
But their sale lot is amazing.
Yeah.
And I said before, it's amazing to watch Steve walk around all these books. Because there's this book that was published in the 80s. It had one run. You think no one read it, no one remembered it. And Steve picks it up and he starts talking all about how great this book was. Like, oh, mackerel. How can you remember that book?
Yeah.
So that was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Kat said, what did I log into?
Yeah.
Into Playboy. So we're talking about the literary Playboy.
Mhm.
Great short story.
Yeah. So that story, by the way, it's sidetracked to that story, Guts. It's famous because he would go around, and he would do readings of that story, and people would, and I mean, I read it, so I believe it. People would faint during these readings. There was some parts that,
I'll have to look up
make you
I'll
queasy.
have to look it up.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
Me too, for sure.
People saying hi.
Yeah, Shannon told me, Shannon at Shannon's channel in Nova Scotia, we're friends on Voxer and that. She's a big fan of him.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never read any. Yeah, I've only seen Fight Club. And I've heard the book is a different ending and all that stuff.
Say hello to Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Maybe-
Alan, Dave told me last week was going to be a short live LOL 3+ hours later.
I know.
Uh,
It was supposed to be.
Thank you, Kat. I'm still basically over the COVID, but Pages of Pros, I subscribe.
Oh, Playboy?
For the short stories, yeah.
sure. I mean, seriously, yeah.
I did too when I was young and single, trying to write short stories to see if I get published. And then I got married and I had to cancel my subscription.
Go
I
figure.
remember when they took the staple out. Took the staple out, and made it different binding.
Let's
still
see.
got the
MJ
centerfold.
saying, let's be sure to hit the like button for the Monday Night Live. Thank you, MJ. It'd be great. Ellen says, Alan, I was wondering how you and your wife are doing. I think she's talking about me. We're basically over it. It was not even a serious case of COVID as far as I know, even though this is my first COVID I ever had.
Well, that's good. I've never had
MJ,
it.
You're saying which story in December? Oh, which story should MJ read for Cthulhu Christmas? Ooh. I am going to pick one for you, MJ. It's not really part. It's sort of part of the Cthulhu mythos, but what is it? Oh God, the picture one.
Picture one.
Yes, with the artist.
Yeah, I've only read a few. I'm not.
I think I know the one you're talking about. Is this the one that they made an episode of it? And
No.
Oh.
Let me look it up. It's a good one. If he wants to read something,
I like the Shadow over. Is it Dunghill? That's a longish one, though.
It's not even that, and it's also good because it's really not a long short story.
Yeah, a lot of his stories are pretty long.
Pickman's Model.
Yeah.
Pickman's Model.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. They made an episode of that in that show. Del Toro. What's his name? Guillermo del Toro's show, Cabinet of Curiosities. Did you guys ever see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there's an episode based on that short story. It's pretty good. It's a Netflix. You should go check it out, Greg.
I don't subscribe to Netflix anymore.
Oh, you haven't seen it, have you, Alan?
No, I just have rabbit ears here. Believe it or not, I've got Wi-Fi, but I need a Fire Stick, or if I had cable or satellite, I'd never leave the house. I mean, I can get into all the stories and stuff.
Yeah,
like anyone else, So
yeah,
I need to concentrate on reading time as it is.
Yeah,
cool.
I'll be drawing or off playing guitar or something, or what. Like my weekends now are watching football. Like I tease MJ every Saturday because they follow Penn State, the Nittany Lions, so we kind of watch back and forth.
Interesting. So Lee says, try Alexander Dumas' Ghosts. It's short and I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, I like Dumas.
So do I. Cat loves the Poe bust. James says, read Poe stories. Landers Cottage. Unspoilable because nothing happened.
Okay.
William,
I shall read that.
I read aloud excerpts from 2 of my books. One was for Garbaugus 2023 when I read The Smut out
Smut
loud.
out loud. You hear that? Al?
Whoa. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Albert, I have heard of Chuck Palahniuk say he really takes stories from people, hence people don't talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
Well, he had a book called Stranger Than Fiction, which was like it was like they were true stories. There was like the stories were like his usual whacked out stuff, but they were all true stories.
Yeah, I've heard he's very interesting, and I look forward to seeing him. Who's that writer of L.A. Confidential and all that? McElroy, L.A. Confidential. Greg, who wrote that?
Yeah. James Elroy wrote L.A. Confidential.
Yeah, I missed him at Powell's. I really.
He would be a trip. Apparently,
he had a new book out and was signing it. I think that's when I was working at the Tea Factory, but a lot of people come to Powell's.
I know. All right, a couple quick comments, and then let's talk about some books that we've read because it's all right. 20 minutes in, we have not mentioned that yet.
Oh, we're supposed to be talking about books?
We're supposed to be talking about books. We never get around. We sort of get sidetracked. Brian. Oh, Casa de Diablo. That sounds like a good one. I might do that one.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Oh God, I love that story.
I don't know that one.
You don't know that story?
No.
Yes, you do.
Wine.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you know, but you don't know.
Yeah, you know it. It's his.
Oh, is that the one where he gets down in the wine cellar?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's a MJ LMFOL Pickman's Model. I can't wait for you to read the Pickman's Model.
MJ, did you see the episode of Pickman's Model on the Cabinet of Curiosities? I feel like I need to find somebody that's seen it.
I don't know. All right, so wait a second. Here you go.
Cat watched.
Oh, I watched some of that on Netflix. I thought it was going to be something else at first. There was a good Pendergast series novel, Cabinet of Curiosities. Where are the biscuits? I can't not have a book.
That's the other show.
That's the wrong show.
Wrong show. We need to. I mean, the show's almost 3 years old now, and we don't have a hook like that. It's embarrassing.
I like hard cookies, like oatmeal cookies, and like cookies that you can use for coasters. I mean, I like biscuits too, of course, but I like gravy on mine.
Okay, gentlemen, let's talk about something we read recently or currently reading that we want to talk about. Dave, since you're the guest, you get to go first.
Go first.
Well, so I'm not reading much at the moment. My life is kind of crazy right now, but one that I just picked up that I only just started is I'm reading more fiction than nonfiction, but I've been more into the political stuff lately. Oh. And so I went to the bookstore with my daughter on Saturday just because I had a gift certificate. I don't frequent Barnes and Noble that much anymore, but I walked past this one and I had seen Dana Bash talking about it on CNN or whatever she's on.
I've heard of her, yeah.
And so I was like, oh yeah, that sounded interesting when I heard her talking about it. So I grabbed it and I started reading it in the store. But this is about, I don't know, yet another historical event that I know absolutely nothing about. So apparently there was an election, a gubernatorial election in Louisiana right after the end of the Civil War, 1872. And apparently this was like the most contentious, violent major election in the history of the country. Mm-hmm. So that's what I didn't know anything about it. So it seems like another thing I should know something about. And of course, I guess she draws a lot of parallels to what's going on today, So
yeah,
about all the rhetoric and the violence and all that kind of stuff. So that is That is the only thing that I've been reading some graphic novels. You guys read graphic novels much?
Sure.
I actually do.
Oh,
I can hold on for 1 second. I will hold this up when my turn comes. I just read a graphic novel this week, so
oh, yeah. So like I said, my life's been nuts. So kind of like I've been turning to some graphic novels lately because I used to read a lot more. Now I read, it's way more heavy on books. But my reading used to be years ago way more heavy on the comics graphic novel side. And that's like the one thing that is a complete escape for me. I can get totally lost in it and just not think about anything else. And so I've been turning to those lately. So I read a couple. I read almost done with this. This one's a 2-book thing. This is called The Nice House on the Lake.
Wow.
So it's a horror graphic novel.
Okay.
And I had read this one a couple months ago, and then I wanted to read book 2, so I read it again actually, and now I'm almost done with volume 2. So it's a total of 12 issues. I got like just one more issue to go, but this is really good. It's about there's a nice house on a lake. There's this guy that like assembles all these friends that he has acquired at different stages of his life, and brings them all to this house under false pretenses that it's going to be like a vacation week away. And he's not who they thought he was. I don't want to say too much, but he's somebody else. And and like crazy crap happens with the world, but they're all at this nice house on the lake. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I just read this I blew through this. This is another, this was whack. This is one of the most whack graphic novels I ever read. Plastic. You ever heard of this?
No, but you did a video on it, didn't you?
No, not yet. I will.
Not yet?
I will.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, one I haven't seen yet, but go ahead.
This is like this guy, the guy you see there. He's it has like a very Dexter feel. This, if you guys are familiar with the show Dexter.
I've heard of it. I've not watched it.
I've watched it a lot. I know it.
He's like, so the thing with Dexter, and that's the way this character is sort of, he's like a, I don't want to say serial killer, but he's like a killer. But he also has like a normal good side, and like the killing is, like he's killing bad people.
I see.
But he this whole thing is kicked off by some like bad people take his girlfriend Virginia, and they kidnap her, and he wants to get Virginia back, but Virginia is not your typical girlfriend. So I'll leave it at that. It's crazy. It's crazy. You're looking for something totally whack. That's a good one.
Does it have like a family tie into it, like Dexter? Like his father was a serial killer, and his sister works for the cops and knows about it.
No, it's not that sophisticated of a plot. It's only like this was only like 5 or 6 issues put together into this. So there wasn't time for that.
There's a couple comic stores in Portland still, and I keep threatening to go into one to buy some Batman, or I like Spider-Man too.
Yeah,
I know Jim likes Batman a lot. I've always liked Batman.
Yeah, I like the superhero comics too.
Yeah,
but there's so many non-superhero stuff. I feel like I'm going to rant here, but I feel like comics get a really bad rap. And everybody thinks it's all like, old age, Superman and Wonder Woman. And there are a lot of very serious, good quality, very adult graphic novels out there. I think a lot of people don't realize that. There's great horror graphic novels, sci-fi novels.
There's some, like you said, very interesting graphic novels. My favorite all time is, of course, Mouse.
Yeah, I've got that.
There's one graphic novel. It's called, let me get it right, What Has Eddie Gain Done?
Eddie Gain, he was a serial killer.
That's a true crime one.
Yeah.
That is the man who basically inspired the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, okay. Eddie Gain.
and it is the true story of how he
Skin
murdered
people
people and put body parts around
or
his house.
lampshades and crap.
I don't think he really used a chainsaw in real life, but you know.
Oh,
But still,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting graphic. It's not high literature, of course.
I've got
Right.
Crime and Punishment graphic novel I show
I have that one
sometimes.
too that I have to read.
Did you
Yeah.
read it, Alan?
Oh yeah,
It's good.
oh yeah, it's really good.
I mean, the
It's-
graphic novel.
Yeah, because they like juxtapose modern day things into it that
Okay.
they didn't have back in the time period, which makes it interesting. And it's violent, of course, because it kills us.
Right.
You kill somebody in there if you don't know it.
Right.
All right. So I'm gonna bring up a out of order comment. We've got someone famous in the audience. President Donald John Trump.
Oh, that's so
Wonderful
funny.
Go, Mr. President.
That's so funny. I feel like I need to take a picture of that. Hold on.
I was going to mention this. If people are interested, in the second week in November, Al and I are thinking of not having a Monday night live show. We are thinking having a Tuesday night live show with live election returns.
Oh.
I don't know if people will be interested in that. So if you're in the audience and you think you would tune in to a live election return where Alan and I and maybe a few guests talk.
Yeah,
about
it'd be like an open mic situation where
I think open mic would be perfect for people to come in and chime in. But the thing, it really depends on, I know, Dave, you're mostly a Republican, even though you don't like Donald Trump. But
it's like my father is a Republican too.
I would say it's going to be a drinking game. Whenever Harris wins a swing state or an unexpected state, you got to take a shot at something.
Well,
it might be fun, or
Sure,
it might
I think it would be.
yeah, that could be
if
fun.
you're in the audience and you think you'd be interested, just leave a comment saying, yeah, do it, or like, nah, I want to leave politics alone. Just talk books. But you can come in, Mr. President.
Yeah, I mean, I'm big on voting. I've been voting since I was 18. I was a deputy registrar, like at Kent State, went college, and then I lost my right to vote for about 8 years. But I immediately got it back. That's the first right I wanted to give back. Second is to get my guns back. But no.
All right. Okay, Alan. What have you been reading?
Well, I read a political book, and I did a video on it called The Death of Truth by Makiko Kakatani, that Pulitzer Prize winning New York Times Review writer. She wrote it in 2018, but it was interesting how she made, I think it's gotten worse, but then I finished our Kurt Vonnegut book, that with Mr. Rosewater. I liked it better than you, Greg, but I love his ending.
I mean, it was Kurt Vonnegut was writing a novel because he felt he had to write a novel.
I like Kilgore Trout appears in it again, and kind of a big part in it. That was cool, and I like his humor, his dark humor.
He does.
Like the suicides. Like I kind of mentioned that on The Boxer. His father committed suicide, the main character, so he's always tempted to be walking by an open window or something, or going in a basement. I thought about hanging myself from the pipe today, meanwhile he's giving away millions of dollars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I started Master and Margarita. I never read this, and I'm really surprised at it. People have been recommending this to me for years.
So I've heard of that, and I forget now what it's about.
Oh, it's hilarious. Big comedy. I can't pigeonhole it because he's talking about Jesus and Pontius Pilate and Russian literature and stuff.
Hey, well, Dave, hold on for 1 second.
It
was written during the Stalinist era
of
the Soviet Union. And he wrote the book but could not publish it
Yeah.
because he would, of course, be sent off to a gulag and killed.
Right.
And it's sort of a fable of the Soviet Union, where you have the story of Pontius Pilate and you have the story of modern Soviet Union, where there's a cigar smoking, gun wielding cat.
Yeah, a big black cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on the cover. The cat's on the cover.
Huh.
It's an interesting book.
Huh.
Yeah. And then I read Candide for the first time, and Adam Savage at Adam Abroad. We were going to do a live on it Tuesday, but he had some funky program that you couldn't even see the comments. And I go, man, we just do StreamYard.
As Candide as like Voltaire, you mean?
Also, yeah.
I read that for the first time and really kind of studied that. I read it a couple times. It's really short.
Mm-hmm.
Read it and listened to it, and hilarious. You know, it's episodic. Reminded me of Cervantes' Don Quixote, which is a book I want to reread again.
Reread?
Oh yeah, I love that book.
Wow.
I read it with a group with Roz and some other people a few years ago.
See, that's a book I don't think I could ever touch until if and when I
It's got 2
retire.
books, but yeah, it's hilarious, really funny. Sancho and
You read it, Greg?
No, I haven't. I've always been meaning to, but it's
Yeah.
a big, thick book, and it's just like I don't have time.
Yeah, I need to set aside like a whole month, like full
Yeah.
time, for me to
I
be able
do.
to read that.
oh
thing.
yeah, takes a month. But
Okay, let's catch up. Before I tell you what I've been reading, let's catch up.
Yep.
Now, wait a second, Alan. Are you going to read "Wake Up, Stupid" by Mark Harris? Or are you going to ditch that?
no, I have it. I've read it before.
I tried to read it, and I got
You didn't like it?
pages. Is it like oh?
Well, it's a little short book that he knocked off back in the day. Mark Harris was friends with Saul Bellow, and he's really old school.
But he was your college professor, and I think you just like it because he's your college professor.
Yeah, could be. I haven't reread it for a while, but I've got it over there on my nightstand.
Yeah,
But I'm hitting 2 for 2 now with Shadowram and Wake Up Stupid. I wonder what you're going to think about Homeboy when we get to it.
We don't know. All right,
Steve Donahue liked it. I've got Homeboy.
Waiting at the train station with a good book. Do any of you guys read crime writing? I've been reading The Best from 19. I love a good crime novel.
I like crime fiction a lot,
I do too.
but like the true crime,
True crime, I don't do too much.
Yeah, that's too close to. I've got a vivid imagination as it is.
Yeah. Ginger Mystery, yes. Through the first few Pendergrass have been let down. The last few Pendergrass have been let down. Bloodlet was good, and I have some feel of the early books, but the sequel was maddening. I like the first 2 books by those 2, Relic and Reliquary, which features Pender. I tried one, the 3rd book, and it was okay, but I never got past the rest of the series. Excuse me. I plan to read only my 3rd non-Stephen King adult horror novel in October. Need to double check the author's name. Oh, the book is Breeder by Douglas Clegg. I have that book, but I have not read it. William Stephen King is good, but can't be trusted with animals in his stories. I love a Dean Koontz book for horror. I'm trying to branch out a bit too.
I enjoy Dean Koontz. My favorite is Dragon Tears. I've got that on my shelf. That's like sentimental. I read him a lot when I was a youngster.
I read a lot in the late 80s and 90s, but sort of just fell off.
Yeah, I read most of them. Even read his Brother Odd series, and read the Frankenstein series. I like the first one, but then Dean Koontz always has like a man-woman team or like either cops or
Yeah, he always has a romance and that kind of stuff.
yeah, I like his supernatural bent to his stories though. Like Dragon Tears, the dude can stop time and he rearranges people, puts guns in people's mouth, and what the hell?
So, Flo, I almost bought plastic on Saturday, but I didn't.
Oh, you should get it, Flo. That's funny.
Okay, Mark went on my TBR wish list. Plastic sounds like fun. Ed murdered 2 and dug up 5. He had a big time issues and his house was creepy. Oh, she's talking about what did you hear what Eddie Gain done? MJ was going, that could be an all-nighter, fellas. I would strict start at 7, end at 10:30, no matter, because you're probably not gonna know the result at 10:30.
No way.
You're just waiting for the West Coast to come in.
Yeah.
In Georgia.
We're not going to know much at all by 10:30. You mean 10:30 your time, Greg?
10:30 my time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it basically the West Coast half hour to give some results. Yeah. Honestly, Washington, Oregon, California, they're not going to be anyway. Surprise.
Right.
MJ, I need someone to be Steve Kornacki with the results. Probably not me. I do watching him maybe in the background. William might tune in. I was a politician years ago. Invite me. Sure. Ah. You could give the Indonesian
worldview.
Yeah. Flo says do it. Just I adore you guys, but try not to think about the election. Your channel sounds like you could make it fun.
Yeah, I'll be watching it.
So, Elaine, I try to avoid talking about politics online with my friends. For an election night, though, I'd make an exception. I would actually hope some people with opposing opinions would come in and have a polite discourse. Maybe that's asking too much for polite discourse, but
no, I don't think so.
Ginger or Cat, I'm getting enough politics at work. I'm staying in the fiction world.
Huh.
Dave, what's a graphic novel you can read again and again and again? Asked Christopher.
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of which ones I have read multiple times. So Lock and Key, probably.
I don't know that one.
That's by Joe Hill.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's probably my favorite graphic novel series of all time.
Now, our local library has a big graphic novel section. I should peruse it. I should, and even ask about popular ones and like some of the ones you're reading, Dave.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm trying to think what else I could read. There's some that's funny. We were talking about superheroes, not superhero. There's some Green Lanterns that I've read over and over again during Jeff Johns' run. There's some of those I've read repeatedly.
I would say Mouth and From Hell for me.
Yeah,
I just read From Hell earlier. That's a really good one.
I just picked up Mouse at book fair that I went to in like a month and a half ago. They had a great. Sorry,
picked up the 2-volume.
2 volumes. I picked up the 2 volumes. I also picked up. Sorry, go ahead, Alan.
No, it's a good 2 volumes.
We were talking about the true crime stuff. I also picked up one there. My Friend Dahmer. I haven't read it yet, but
I remember where I was at. I was living with my parents in Fountain Hills, Arizona, when that news broke. Man, it's creepy.
Yep.
So Kevin finished Titus Andronicus.
Excellent.
I'm reading Shakespeare by Anthony Burgess. Read Ilya's. I'm trying to. It's Natchez.
Natchez, yeah, Mississippi.
Like matches. It's like Natchez.
Right. Yeah.
I read the
Big
first book in that series last month.
last month.
Like primed for that one because I want to read that whole trilogy.
It's Greg Isles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He did a World War II Hitler novel called
Yes.
Black
Phoenix
Cross.
from
Black
Spandau
Cross.
Phoenix.
What's it?
Spandau Phoenix.
No, I thought it was Black Cross.
He could have done two.
Oh. Yeah, I like him a lot. And
It
then,
was-
Titus Andronicus is a really violent Shakespeare.
It's one of those plays that a lot of scholars question
If you wrote it,
because it's
Yeah.
really not up to the Shakespeare standard.
I like it.
You like it because it's violent and gross and
People get like their hands cut off and stuff.
yeah, and it's just like it's not him. It's just like
Yeah, Coriolanus is pretty violent too, but that's really more political. And then what was the last one? Anthony Burgess Shakespeare. I'd like to read that. I like Anthony Burgess.
yep.
He wrote a great Joyce book called Rejoice and A Clockwork Orange, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Voltaire ain't worthy to worship. Leibniz, much less satirize him. Brian doesn't like Voltaire.
Yeah, Leibniz. I don't know all the history, but yeah, about Germany, and that's where it starts in Germany, but
Yeah.
it goes all over the world. Amsterdam, Spain.
Well, Lily, here's Cat that the first two Pendergrass were devastating, but they were really different books. Those were horror novels, whereas, if I'm not mistaken, the rest of the series sort of backs away from the supernatural and the horror. Dave, I know you. Were you the one who read that, or is that Jim from
Not me.
Mystery and Mayhem who was reading some of the other ones?
Yeah, that was him commenting on it before.
I think so. Dragon Tears is so good. I'm reading Whispers currently.
Yeah, Dragon Tears is great.
I haven't read the later ones yet. Ginger says Jim. He's talking about the Pendergrass novels. Don Quixote is quick read despite its length. What do you think so far? Lots of interesting twists and turns. They're talking about Pendergrass. I'm enjoying Whispers so far. It's messed up. Probably will upset some folks, but it's got some messed up and twisting lovin'. Excuse me. Constance says, I would love you guys to do election night as an alternative to the slow rolling of the results. Oh, all right. We got a little bit of interest. You have a good point. It'd be more interesting to watch Greg and Alan. Depends on who we can get to come in and comment. In case anyone's wondering, I was a candidate for city council in 2019. I lost badly. I got 34 votes. Some candidates only got 8 or 9 votes.
Oh,
well, at least you
you
tried.
have experience now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, my grandfather was into politics. So he was Irish American. He was a steward in the union in Toledo, auto unions, and big ruffian. And I always liked politics. I don't know why. They say Capricorns are drawn to politics. I'm a Capricorn. And I don't know. If I had to do it all over again, I'd be squeaky clean and like get a badge. And I don't know. Or be a lawyer. That's the way to go.
Yep. All right. Finally, on to what I read. This is the graphic novel I read. It's called Blankets.
Oh yeah.
Craig Thompson. I picked this up because Utah banned this book.
Okay.
Well, that looks like a big one.
It is. It's 580 pages.
Wow.
But it's a graphic novel, so you can still read it in a day.
I've heard. I don't really know anything about it, but I've heard that it's wonderful.
It's the problem with this book is it's essentially a teenage romance book.
Okay.
Oh.
It talks a little bit I mean, it's a memoir. It's not a novel. About
Oh,
the
Greg,
artist.
you strike me as the type that would be all over teen romance stuff.
But it's essentially the author goes to a Christian summer camp and falls in love with the one of the rebel girls, and later in the winter he goes visits her for 2 weeks. He's like
gee.
in Wisconsin, she's like in Upper Michigan, and it's just like, oh, we were so much in love. It was so great. We walked in the snow and made snow angels. She knitted me a hand stitched blanket. And
Alan, don't you just love his rendition of it?
Yeah.
I mean,
For
there's
500 pages?
what?
For 500 pages.
Yes. Well, no, there's a little bit more. I mean, it talks about their family, his relationship with his brother, but it's really geared towards younger people. I mean, I could see a teenager mooning over what it'd be like to go visit a girlfriend in another state and skipping school and getting her to take her top off and all that kind of fun stuff, you know.
So what was it banned in Utah?
Well, it's banned because in the beginning of the book, it's quite clearly that his parents are Christian. He's going to a Christian camp, but he starts questioning his religious beliefs. And of course, there's some nudity in this book. There's a scene early in the book where he's thinking about his girlfriend, and he draws himself nude, and you can see his thigh and his hand between his thighs, and you know what he's doing, you know. So the people in Utah probably had a conniption fit over that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, did you have fun with it, or?
It was fun. It's just not. The problem is, it's just not my story.
Yeah.
I mean,
how was it like comparative religion? Do they get into the comparative religion? That's like a phase that I think everybody goes through or should go through.
It does. And again, it happens at the end of the book where I guess it's not a huge spoiler, where he decides that maybe I'm not really a true Christian at heart anyway, you know. So I get to see the Mormons having like a conniption fit, saying like, you can't reject your religion because you're no longer with your girlfriend, you know.
Yeah, I turned Buddhist.
But honestly,
I went to school in the morning and I came home.
I mean, this is the kind of pictures you get. Idolized. Can you see that picture of the girlfriend? It's kind of drawing sexy, you know. She's in her skimpy little night dress, and you get a lot of leg. And there is a part where she takes off her top somewhere, but you know, that's what it is. I don't see why it'd be ban worthy. If I had a teenage child, son or daughter, and they wanted to read the book, I'd go, fine, read it. You won't do yourself any harm, you know?
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not a strict Mormon, so.
Right.
But this is, hold on. This is a book I picked up in Philadelphia from an anarchist bookstore called the Wooden Shoe Books.
Yeah, you sent me a bookmark from there.
Anarchy, a graphic guide by, what's his name? Clifford Harper. And it's essentially a history of people's objection to governments ruling over them. I mean, he all calls it anarchy. Some of it is more socialistic or communistic rather than anarchistic. My problem with this book is it's a high level history. So you will get biographies of some famous anarchist philosophers like Bakunin, by Mikhail Bakunin, but it is like 6 pages long. which is really just super high level. It's the kind of thing you would write for a high school essay. That level of detail, showing I've read the history, I understand it. Here are the highlights. No real depth to it.
I see you got it tabbed up pretty well, though.
I did. I mean, I got a tab because he does mention some interesting things. Like let me just read like what was it? Once it is accepted that the independence of the individual is supreme, it follows that all individuals are equally supreme, that no one is any more important than the other. In other words, all human beings are equal and have such an equal claims to justice.
So we're equally supreme. Tell that to Diana Ross.
I'm glad I read it. It's just he's not a great storyteller. When you get good nonfiction, they get you into the story of the people that were forming these anarchistic beliefs. And he does not do that. He just gives you the details. He just did his research and spewed it out. And I was thinking like this is a 208-page book, but there's lots of stories in here that you could take any one of these anarchists and flesh out a more detailed biography or even a novel about them, because they sometimes had very dedicated lives to their philosophy. I just found it ultimately disappointing.
Yeah, but at least you got a souvenir from the bookstore and your visit.
At least I went to an anarchist bookstore, and read a book on anarchy. And of course, what book on anarchy would be incomplete without mentioning the Sex Pistols? So I enjoyed reading it. It's not
Anarchy in the UK. Anarchy in the UK. But did when you went to Philly with MJ and Hannah, did they go to the store too?
Yeah, MJ was at. MJ just made a comment actually, and that was a heck of a lot of fun. The Wooden Shoe, it was my favorite bookstore.
Don't they have volunteers that work there, right?
All volunteer bookstore.
Oh yes.
The website
The hours are.
We have set hours. But you better call ahead because it may not be open.
No. So who are you finally? I was kind of bummed. I had to miss that trip. It was my daughter's final weekend before we took her to college. But
right.
Who finally went?
MJ and Hannah and myself.
Okay.
Book Chat with Pat was scheduled to go, but one of her friends came down with COVID, and she kind of said, I think I got it. And backed out.
Okay.
Too bad.
So how many bookstores did you guys hit?
I hit 6.
Okay.
So it's a great little bookstore town. Washington, D.C. is better. My little town in Virginia has one. Well, technically, we have one bookstore in Barnes and Noble, and that's it.
Are you talking about that one bookstore that has like all kinds of other stuff too?
No, that's Richmond.
I like that store.
Yeah, they have a really crappy selection, Alan. Compared to
but they have all kinds of stuff like albums and knickknacks, and like you would like it, Dave. They have like little Batmans and all kinds of.
Sounds up my alley.
They have all kinds of stuff in that store. Maybe I like it because we don't. Not that I know of, we don't have a store like that. It's pretty cool.
So Kat goes, Anarchy bookstore. That sounds so cool to check out. It is. If you're ever in Philadelphia, check out the Wooden Shoe. I mean, just to say that you are in an anarchist bookstore. I mean, just to say that you've been there. And again, this was written with rose-colored glasses, I think.
Here's a bookmark that you sent me.
I did.
James Baldwin's on it.
Hmm.
And then the Wooden Shoe Bookstore. Cool. All volunteer anarchists.
Is that right? Is it all volunteer place?
It's an all-volunteer place.
Hmm.
And we were there with MJ, and I guess one of the guys was training a new employee.
Uh-huh.
And it's fine. I mean, I love the passion of these people. I mean, I'm gonna skip down, like William says. I've always wondered how anarchists would organize society if they don't mean looting and setting buildings on fire. There's none of that in here. This is all basically hippy dippy, freaky, brotherly love kind of stuff, without government interference, because you live better lives without government. LOL, Olive does love her spice.
It's true. You do, right?
Cat Love Ella was wondering if she can start reading Pushin' Cushions.
Oh, that was one of the books Olive was going to read for Gob August. She didn't get to it, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get the Pushing Cushions.
Olive's wondering when the smut part kicks in under the blankets. It's very sedate, Cat. It's, I'm old and jaded, and it's just like, okay, you're just sleeping with your girlfriend. She has no top. It's not all that disastrous. Elaine says, woohoo, I'm also a Capricorn.
Oh.
Kevin, I just Googled Southern Cross, Greg. It is the Greg Isles books as well as Spandau Phoenix. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like them a lot. I like a lot of Southern writers. I'm going to be reading this one too. Master, slave, husband, wife.
Yep. I did that one for the BookTube prize.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
Okay, here's MJ. Read What You Own is coming up 11/6/24. Who's in? I'm in.
I don't know if I have 25 books I haven't read on my shelf.
Well, then you're not a candidate for this challenge.
I could do like 25 maybe, but I'd have to stretch. I'd be reading astral projection books and all magical states of consciousness I haven't read yet. I haven't read a lot of stuff. Boy, I have 2 copies of this book. Has anybody ever heard of it?
I have a copy of that book.
What is it?
Well,
It's a Dickens knockoff.
What?
It's a Dickens knockoff. It's like it's an 80s retelling of a Dickens novel, or a Dickens-esque style novel.
Oh, yeah. And then we have, thanks to Nettie, I have a brand new copy of this that she was raving about. I know you do too, Greg.
I do.
Yeah. So
What's that about?
I have no idea.
That looks like a chunker.
A little.
How many pages is it? 600?
Yeah. 602. Yeah. Good call, Greg.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do the challenge. I'm probably going to switch it up, though. Instead of doing like a 100 book challenge, I think I'm going to do a 20,000 page challenge.
Try to get my page number.
Yeah, just so whenever I do the challenge in the past 3 years, it really focuses your attention. Excuse me.
Short books or shorter books?
Short books. So you can pick up like The Play of the Odd Couple by Neil Simon, which is like 78 pages long.
That's a great play. It has a line in it that you left me a note on my pillow that said "F you." It took me all day to figure out that meant Felix Unger.
Yeah, so I want to get away from that feeling that I have to read just short books.
Mm-hmm.
And by making it pages, I can pick up the 600-page novel and I can read it, and it counts. And if I DNF it in the middle at 200 pages, I can say, well, I still read 200 pages. So
yeah, sure, that makes sense.
So this is starting on November 6th.
Yes,
I thought that was like an ongoing thing. I thought like people were doing that now.
some people take longer to complete their challenges. Some people overestimate how quick. Now, like Michael K. Vaughan is on the 500.
That's fine. Oh, yeah, I mean,
he did that, man.
He's going to be on that challenge for another year, another couple of years.
Glad to have 500 books you haven't read on your shelf.
You got to give him credit, though. He's been plugging away at that for a long time.
I admire his dedication. Now, he does make exceptions for like comics.
Yeah,
and comic book collections,
mm-hmm.
and it makes sense because some of those comic collections are when they're for sale. If you don't buy them when they're you pay too much.
Yeah,
on the secondary market. So I think I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not for comics. But my thing is like collectible books will be an exception. Like let's just, for example, I find a paperback from hell that normally goes for $3 and it's $5. I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's a collectible book.
Right.
But new books are, of course, don't count. I can wait on those. And I want a challenge that I can finish hopefully before February. So I can join the BookTube prize, Untainted. Because I always said the BookTube prize didn't count, even though I usually can get a lot of those books in the library. So,
Now, are you? Are we still doing a Swan Song? I was going to read the first one. Are you still doing that year-long?
Proust. Yeah, Proust is going on.
When are you going to start that?
January 1st. All year long.
Like reading 10 pages a day, something like that?
Yeah, we have a schedule. It's about 10 to 12 pages a day.
Is that on your Discord?
Yes, it is.
I haven't checked Discord recently, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you're going to do Swan Song, 10 pages a day?
It's not why. It's remembrance of
things past.
Remember of lost time. Remembrance of lost time is the new translation.
Oh.
Remembrance of things past is the original translation in English. And it's fine if you want to read that translation too. We're not being picky. Hold on for 1 second. I believe Elizabeth at Bookins and Books is joining us. So she's going to be reading the original French.
Oh.
Alan, French is her first language. English is her second language. Yeah. It's sometimes hard to realize it because their English is really good. You don't figure it out as a second language.
She's going to be on the show when?
Next
week?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on next week.
Next week.
Talk about Frame September and a lot of other things.
September and the BookTube prize. We're going to make predictions on who we think is going to win.
Did you like Master Slave Husband Wife?
I liked it okay. Since judges are still judging, I'm not going to go into more than that. But it's fine. We'll talk about it next week, because next week the deadline for the BookTube prize is midnight that night, and we're starting at 8. I think we can start talking about it at 8 p.m. a few hours before the deadline. I think that'll be Fine.
Remember that novel, Washington Black? Washington Black. It was popular a few years ago. It was good.
Washington Black?
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, maybe I got it wrong. I must. Go ahead.
All right.
Uh,
I would definitely check it out. But enough lists without having to purchase this show up on my credit card.
Yeah.
Ginger, I'm book shopping while hanging out here. Cat, true to your training, could not be good. If I found any good books, would someone have to get it for me? Well, Ginger, the thing is about the challenge is you set your own rules. Some people set rules is I can accept gifts.
yeah, hey, listen. Oh, yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My rule was I can accept gifts, but what I cannot do is see a new book that I want and tell my wife, "Oh, go buy me that."
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
would be cheating. But
Yeah,
if my birthdays or holidays and she got it for me, yeah, you can accept it, but it wouldn't count if you read it. Those are my personal rules. Everyone has their own rules. I know Criminale went hardcore last year and said, I cannot accept any gifts between those times. And I think that's kind of like, you can't like refuse a gift if someone's sending you something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the cover of this. Here it comes. Washington Black was 2018. Really popular novel. It's like another slave story, journey from slavery to freedom. But I really liked it. It's like his third novel, one of the New York Times best books of the year, Washington Black. I can't pronounce his name.
I don't. I recognize the author. I think it's a woman.
Yeah.
I read one book by her about 10 years ago, but I don't remember Washington Black at all.
Yeah. Damn it. Trying to get her name now. Hey. Yeah.
Libro Paradiso. Hello.
Hey, Libro.
Hey.
Conversation reminds me of the short story by John Sayles, The Anarchist Convention. It's pretty funny. MJ, I'll be trying again. My TBR is out of control and my credit card is mad at me after Halloween shopping. Kat, it's not Halloween yet. There's pre-Halloween shopping, right?
Getting ready.
Getting ready. All right. Cool for trying again.
I mean, Halloween reading season starts in less than a week, right?
No,
A week. So, I mean, she's got to get prepared.
She's got to get her books lined up.
Yeah, I know Flossie's doing a lot for the season. She and Nicole are into that spooky readathon or something. I need to watch. They got some videos I have not seen yet on it, but sounds interesting. I like her decorations. I get my decorations from the Dollar Tree for Halloween.
I'm way behind on video. I mean, I watched very few videos on my cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got COVID, I just was not watching anything. So I'm like 2 weeks behind and I'm going like, I'll never catch up.
No, you might as well just
people will understand vacation, COVID, you miss them,
Sure.
There's no official start date. Remember the 5th of November, the last day to buy a book.
John Lennon has a song called The 5th of November.
Libra Alan Moore's From Hell. Yeah, I read that earlier this year. I love that book. It's a great book.
Yeah, buddy read that with Adam Savage last year, I think.
I'm going to have to.
MJ is going to go 10 at a time and see where it takes me. I don't really know where my books begin and someone else's begin. I share my books with my family and my library. I run it owned by my father's foundation.
Huh.
Okay.
Sounds nice.
Libro Paradiso, Swan in Love. I think the moral trait is Swan's Way. There may be some other translations.
Yep. Swan's Way.
Sorry, where mine end and someone else's begins. Spooky season is now.
Mhm.
Greg, it's always Halloween, Summerween in August. Dollar Tree and Marshalls have a great Halloween decor. Spooky, scary skeleton Halloween readathon. Yes, the dollar store has some fun decorations lately.
Yeah, I have some in a box still. Well, always loved Halloween.
Yeah, cat saying it's always spooky season at my house. I get more decor starting in August.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only
no,
thing is, like, I live like in a retirement community, so
No.
there are zero trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood.
I'll
yeah,
tell you
it's like
what, I was
up
at
in
home.
Arizona.
I was at Home Depot yesterday. They really stepping it up with the Halloween decorations. They got some amazing stuff there now.
Oh yeah, yeah, real electronics and
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. They had this like crazy, like humongous, like plague doctor there. I was there yesterday getting some stuff, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
They have
Costco
some, like,
is
cool
insane.
light shows. They have some like light shows too. You can
Yeah.
buy for your house, and
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
you got to decorate your house, Greg, for Halloween instead of Christmas, and be like the only house on the block all Halloween and ghost and spooky. My dad in Arizona, they don't get trick or treaters either. But man, when I was a kid, that was my favorite holiday. You know, nowadays, if I had young kids, I would just take them to a Halloween party. I wouldn't even go door to door. But if I was a kid, I would be like homeschooled. There's no way I would, not to get all political again, but I wouldn't go to high school or anything these days. Nope, couldn't even make me go, Mom. You'd have to homeschool me.
Yeah, Costco had like a giant werewolf that looked like it was like 5 feet tall,
Yeah.
and it was like $350.
Oh
Oh.
man,
And I'm going like, oh, because it lighted up and it moved, and I think it howled at you if you got too near.
yeah, it sounds like something you do. You put it in the corner of your book. I was going to say bookstore in your collection in the corner of your basement, and go down and scare the pants off you one morning.
It'd be like Michael K. Vaughn with his Roger.
Yeah,
I have a giant
werewolf.
werewolf in my basement.
Yeah, well, Christmas is coming, Greg.
And
Special delivery, the big box outside your door.
as big as my house is, I don't think I have room for that inside.
They look good in the corner of your shelf, brother.
Spooky season.
My dragon onesie.
In my dragon onesie, Bad inspired me.
Sounds kind of racy, Elaine.
MJ's got a jet.
Right,
I see MJ.
I want that giant skeleton so bad.
Yeah.
Money. I think it's probably very similar to the werewolf I saw at Costco.
There's this couple down around the corner that they do like such a good job every year, and they like they don't have them up this year, but last year they had. Oh, I thought I got frozen there for a minute. But last year they had this they had these like several of those like skeleton guys with the pumpkin heads they were like, I mean, I don't even know how they were way taller than me. These things, they were like, they must have been 8 feet, 9 feet tall. These things, they were humongous. And they do like the whole yard is filled with all sorts of creepy stuff. They do a great job.
Yeah, it's fun for the kids. They do that around here when I take the bus. I'll notice yards fixed up with ghosts and blow up dragons and things.
Yeah.
So Fred says, Greg, do they decorate your area for Halloween even though there are kids around? Not really. Couple people put a couple of things out, but nothing special. The one that gets me every year, there's a couple houses. Now, in our neighborhood, every garage has a light on the right and the left of the two-car garage, and it comes on automatically every night at dusk, goes off at dawn. And some people every year replace those lights with red light bulbs.
Red. Oh, I replaced mine with orange. I have like a couple lights, like our driveway. We call it like the gate. It has these
Right.
two little things at the driveway with lights on. I replaced them with orange in October. Orange bulbs.
Nice.
But you know what a red light signifies?
You don't have to turn on the red light.
And I'm going like, no, I'm not. No, it's
Yeah.
a retirement community.
Maybe they just need a little advice about the color, you know?
Red light. I'm going
You
not
could go, you could go purple, you could go orange, no red. No
Yeah,
red.
excuse me. I noticed you have the red light
Well,
on.
you don't know. How well do you know these people?
Obviously, I don't know them very well.
I mean, maybe they know exactly what they're doing, Greg.
Oh,
I've heard
cool.
about some of these retirement communities.
Yeah. Swing American. No, that community's pretty nice. Like all the houses are similar but different. Like they'll have different garage doors on them,
Yeah.
and then you go like 3 houses down, it'll be similar. You know, different layouts. It's pretty cool for a gated community.
I have some fire bulbs for my outside lights. Most
Yeah.
of the other outdoor lights get taken out by the wind.
Oh,
Yeah. Those fire bulbs are really cool. I like those. Greg lives in the Levernight district.
Christmas.
You learn all sorts of things about Greg tonight.
You
Who knew?
yeah, Virginia's for lovers, you know.
All right. All right.
Oh,
So the year. Hold on. So the year's almost up, but are there any other reading events that people are looking forward to?
Yeah, I don't know about events. I mean, I kind of do my own things. Every Halloween, you know, I restrict myself to Halloween themed books. It's like it's the Dave and Olive event. I keep thinking about turning it into an official event, but there's always so many other things going on in October. But I do like, it's kind of like a horror mayhem, like on a weekly basis, but it's only specifically Halloween themed stuff, you know. So I always do that. And then last year, in December, I limited myself to like Christmas themed stuff. But I mean, it could be anything. It could be Christmas horror, or you know,
Right.
she read some Christmas smut for real. She read some Christmas smut. So you know, just something Christmas themed. So I'm
Have
gonna
you
do
read-
those again. I think, you know.
Have you read No Nosferatu by Joe
Yeah.
Hill?
Yeah, that's a
good
great
Christmas.
book.
Good
That's
to
a
read
great-
at Christmas. Flossie and I, buddy, read that like a couple years ago. Or no, I'm sorry, Floss. It was Sonia at Enthusiastic Reader. Yeah, we buddy read that, and we didn't even know it was like Christmas themed. It was perfect.
Yeah. Did you know that there's a graphic novel prequel to that?
No.
No.
Yeah. It's called, you know, the car, you know, his car Wraith.
Yeah, that was a cool character.
Yeah, the graphic novel prequel is called Wraith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's decent, you know. Doesn't match
I'll
up to
look
the
for that.
book, of course, but it's it's
I'll look for that in the library.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty
And
good.
I'm going to look for other graphic novels as well.
Yeah. I just kind of got out of them for a while, like I was just too many books to read, and so I was reading less and less of them. But yeah, I love graphic novels. They're, like I said, it's even more than TV. It just, for some, I think it must be the combination of like the story and the graphics, like looking at all the pictures or something. It's
Mhm.
like, it's, for some reason, it's just the one thing that, like, no matter what is going on in my life, I just can get completely lost in it. You know what I mean? Just like completely lose track of time. And it's really, really, for me, they're really, really good for
Yeah.
that.
I like color, but I really love black and white illustrations and
You know.
drawing.
Yeah, the black and white stuff's great too. I mean, all the Walking Dead was, black and white. Hey, you okay?
I also, what about a graphic is that it's very satisfying to have a book like that. I read this like last week. This is Lovecraft's Shadow over Innsmouth. Is
Okay.
manga.
Oh,
And I have to be careful because manga is sort of backwards on how you read.
Yeah.
But it's the Lovecraft story. It's translated from the Japanese, of course, but
that's a great story. I like that story.
it is a good story.
That's cool.
And it's a 460-page book. But you can read this in a day
Yeah.
without really struggling.
Yeah.
And I find it very satisfying to pick up a book of that length and to say you read the whole thing. And now you can take long. I mean, you can take longer because I guess a lot of people study
Yeah.
pictures in a lot more detail than I do. And
I'm like that. I go through them slow.
Yeah, it took me a few days to read that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially you, Alan. You're probably really appreciating every
Oh,
you're an
detail of the
artist.
art, right?
If I draw, it's a stick figure.
Yeah.
And it's I can't even draw a round head. It's just
Yeah, same here. Same here.
I've been working on this big drawing. I have to just pencil right now.
Yeah.
But like 2-point perspective stuff.
Yeah.
I always got something going on.
Yeah. You read much manga, Greg, or is that like a one-off there?
I don't read a lot. And most of the reason I don't read a lot is this is from Amazon, heavily discounted, $18. So it's not super expensive, but you can't buy a whole bunch of these.
Yeah. Yeah, manga can get pretty pricey pretty quick. But,
yes, it can.
Yeah, I had never read any, and who got me to try it was
James Holder.
No, Criminale, when he did his whole like when he first started, he did that whole experimental thing where he was gonna
Death Notice and there was the 3,000-page manga in one volume.
Oh.
The Ollie did?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember him doing that one. Yeah, he had started out. He had done some. I forget what they were. What it was like. Oh, I don't even remember what they were. Something in the tracks across the track, Blood on the Tracks or something, and a couple other ones that were, like multi-volume things that you could read individual ones pretty quick. And he was doing that, and he was just trying out for the first time. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty fun. Maybe I'll try that. So I tried, and I really liked it. I tried a couple of popular ones like One Piece and Spy Family and Attack on Titan, and I really enjoyed them, And for the horror, the Junji Ito. I don't know if you guys ever read any of the Junji Ito stuff.
I have some of his books highlighted at the library.
Yeah.
Eventually take out. Now, my thing is, I don't think I would do well with the episodic stories.
Okay.
It's 50 pages here, another 50 pages, and all of a sudden then your whole book is whatever amount. It's like like this one is good because it's the story. It's not spread out, and I like it. But a lot of the superhero stuff, I know I just would not take the superheroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's Kat, the senior living
Let's see.
swingers. You never know. Anyone up for October County by Bradbury?
October Country, yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
I have a lot of stuff to read.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I might be Christopher. I'm not a really well read with Bradbury.
Is that a novel or is that short stories?
I think it's a collection of short stories, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not positive.
Christopher and I, next week is when we go like once a month. We go to this pub called the Book Pub. It's around the corner from where I live, and it's half like a book. They sell books. It's mostly a pub restaurant. You get small plates, and but the last Saturday of every month, this woman's been reading a book from memory of Paradise Lost.
Oh,
I vlog it. I've asked her if she would mind if I videotaped her. She goes, "Oh, no, go ahead." So she's really good.
Oh, and she doesn't read it she just does it from memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll go up on lines sometimes and she'll pause. You can see her thinking, and then she'll repeat it and go right back into it. Because I bring the text along,
Did I ever tell you guys the Great Gatsby story?
No, I don't think so.
So I saw this. My wife and I went to see this show. This was years ago now. This was amazing. It was a word for word. The show was called Broadway show called, or I guess it was probably just off Broadway, but the show was called Gats, and it was done by the Elevator Company, I think, and they it was a word for word reproduction of The Great Gatsby.
Oh,
and the guy, it was really cool the way they did it. It starts off with this guy. He's like a worker, and he goes into he's in like a boiler room or something. I don't know. He goes to some place, and he can't do what he needs to do because something's missing. I forget what it was. So he makes a call about it, and then he has to wait. So he's sitting there, and he opens a drawer, and The Great Gatsby's in there. And so he starts reading it, right? And then, but he puts the book down immediately. And all these other actors start like filtering in, acting out the parts of the novel that he's reading. But he literally did it. Oh no, that's right. That's what happened. No, he was reading it from the book until I guess it was like the last hour or so. And then he put the book down to show everybody that he knew. And then he read like the last hour just from memory. Something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Cause it was an 8-hour thing. It was an 8-hour thing. They had a little break where you could go. You had like make a reservation.
I was about to say, I thought Gatsby was like at least 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, you go get a quick dinner and then come back, and yeah, it was an 8-hour affair. But
that was cool though.
It was really cool. It was really.
I could see that because it's just like a dramatic interpret. Now, did the people interpreting speak at all, or they just act out the parts like mimes?
There was a lot. God, now it was years ago. Actually, you tested my memory. They did. They spoke some, but a lot of it was him reading out of the book as a narrator.
Right.
But yeah, they did. They didn't just act. They had vocals. It was probably like, I don't even know how many people it was. I don't think it was that many actors. I don't know. It was probably like 6-8 actors total.
Yeah, they probably just reprised roles, and
yeah, this was over a decade ago that we saw this in New York. Yeah. So let's test on my memory, but yeah, I remember loving it.
Really good.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never been to New York City. I long to go. You know, Broadway and off Broadway, off Broadway.
Yeah.
I'd be into that. La Mama, Greenwich Village.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't take advantage of it nearly as much as we should because we're not that far. For us, it's a little over an hour train ride.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we should go in. We go see stuff sometimes, but we should go in a lot more often than we do.
Yeah.
The only problem is if you want to stay overnight in New York, it's so costly.
Yeah. Yeah, well, even for a show, to see a good show, if you want to get a halfway decent seat, it's going to be a few $100 a seat. It's not cheap.
That's fine, but it's like it turns into a pricey weekend all of a sudden if you're going in.
If you stay over, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Let's finish up with some comments and graphic novels like Terry Moore's Strangers in Paradise, Love and Rockets by Hernandez Brothers, Barry Windsor Smith's Monsters. I like that one. I heard that one. Guido Capri's Valentina books. Frank Miller.
Sin City. Yeah.
And comic strips like Terry and the Pirates. Steve Canyon was taught by Umberto Eco at university in the 60s. Brilliant comic strips by Orson Welles, John Steinbeck, and Harlan Ellison admired.
Oh. Well, that's excellent information.
Ellen says, great chat and laughs. Thank you for everyone. Well, my voice is my COVID voice is just like it's catching up to me. So
you've been muscling through the last half hour.
I'm getting hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I go to this joint called Pizza Jerk.
Yeah.
They're really special, and I always hope for meatball pizza.
All right. Well, Dave, Olive, I want to thank you.
Well, thanks for having us. This was great.
Yes.
It's always great chatting with you guys.
It is great.
Yeah, thanks, Olive.
Yeah, look at that. You see that? Look.
We're working at
it. Can you see us, Olive?
Yeah.
She can't hear us.
There. Yeah. She wants another treat. That's what she
wants. Oh, treat.
Yeah, well, thanks again, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. And everyone in the chat room, thank you for hanging out with us. And hope to see you next week, where we'll have Elizabeth with Bookends and Books, if all things go right. And we'll be talking about the BookTube Prize.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great